Hi friends, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to make some of the crafts I use in my videos. The first one I'm going to do is just a simple watercolor painting of a flower. It's so beautiful and I just want to be able to show you step by step how I created mine so that you can make one too. So what you need is just a watercolor paintbrush or regular paintbrush, little container of water. I like to get a little paper towel just in case I make a spill or need to dry off my brush, and then your watercolors and a white piece of craft paper or regular watercolor paper works just fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is wet down my brush, and I'm going to go ahead and choose green. So the first part of the flower we're going to make is the stem. Now, I don't know about your backyard, but my backyard is covered in blooming flowers right now, and it's so pretty. So I'm gonna base it off of a flower that I see in my backyard that just bloomed. So I'm gonna start at the bottom, and I'm just gonna go really slowly and draw a line. This is the stem. And if you go slow, you run out of paint slower as well, just like that. And if you want, while you have a little bit of the green, you can make some grass at the bottom, because of course flower is going to be growing out of the ground, and of course there's going to be some nice grass, and those are just quick brushes up from the bottom of the paper up, and those can be fast. You don't have to worry about those. Make sure you're kind of keeping the brush wet. Watercolors tend to dry out after a few brushes, so you want to keep putting some water, but not too much. You got to find the perfect combination. And I'm just going to go across the bottom like this. Oh, my grass is so cute. Almost made it to the other side of the paper. All right, so there's my grass, and there's a stem to my flower. And the last thing I'm gonna do with my green color is I'm gonna make just some leaves on the stem. And they can kind of be shaped however you want. I know the leaves on the flower I'm thinking of, I don't know the name of the flower, but they're kind of pointy like that. I'm gonna do one big one there, and then maybe just like a even bigger one down here. And I might need to put some water on my brush. If ever you run out of paint, you don't need to get more green paint. You can always just dab it in water and it spreads it out. If you remember from the watermelon slice project we did, I just had a little bit of red, and then the rest of it I just dipped in water and spread it out. I'm going to do one more little tiny leaf right here. And then the very top of my stem, I'm just going to make almost like a little triangle. The point, like that. Can you do that? Okay. Now, you can choose whatever color you want for your flower. I'm gonna go with orange, just because that is the color of the flower I'm thinking of. I think it's called a tulip. Oh, I should have done my research, but I think it's a tulip. All right, so you're gonna start here right where you made your triangle, and then brush up like this. And I'm kind of looking to make half of an ovoid, or kind of like half of a oval, just like that. And you could maybe make it come up a little bit here in the middle and there. And then you're going to get some water, clean off your brush and use the water, and then use that to brush the orange out a little bit to shapen up your flower. You can even make it a little bit wider, a look bigger, but you don't need that much more orange. Yeah, I want to say this is a tulip. I'm pretty sure it's a tulip. They come in all different colors. I chose orange today. And see, I kind of just made the top a little bit pointy, but the bottom, see how it's darker and more round. And there we go. That's my beautiful tulip. If you wanted to add some fun to it, you can add all kinds of things like a butterfly or Mr. Sun up in the top corner, or maybe a little ant crawling across the grass. This is your picture, and I'm sure the flower would love some visitors. So that is how you make the flower painting. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make your very own drum. This one's a lot of fun. I have an old coffee can with a lid, and because it's so big, I actually needed 2 pieces of craft paper, but if you have something that's a little bit smaller, you might only need 1. Some tape, some scissors, and make sure you have your parents help you with this part, and some markers. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take the lid off the coffee can, and I'm going to put the paper around one side of my coffee can. Now, I felt that the easiest way to do this without having to get out a measuring tape is to simply push down the paper around the edge so that you know where to cut. So it's almost like a line. It just gives it a little bit of, oops, if it doesn't slide, I have an idea. I'm going to go ahead and tape this one to the drum so it doesn't move. Ah, helpful. All right, I'm going to keep pushing down just along the edge so it gets a good crease. Now this might not be perfect, but I'm going to put the lid back on when it's all said and done. So if it's all wonky and not straight, totally fine, you won't be able to see it. All right, I'm going to peel this off and I'm going to start cutting. See, look, I have a pretty straight line that I'm going to follow. You always want to remember to be extremely careful with scissors. Maybe your mom or your dad or grandma, somebody's helping you with this part, or you have your own scissors and you've practiced and you've learned how to cut safely. All right, there you go. I'm gonna put this paper over to the side. And I still have that little piece of tape on there. Let's see if it lined up. Ah, pretty good. All right. Now, like I said, I have 2 pieces of paper, so one is gonna go over the other. So my pink one's gonna go on first. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of tape, pointing it towards you so you can see it, to tape it on. It's looking like a drum. Okay, this is gonna be under paper, so I'm not too worried about what this side looks like. So, woo! There's my pink side. Now, I'm gonna do the same thing with my other color, which is, I chose green. I thought they were very festive. And see, I'll have a little bit of pink and a little bit of green drum. I think it's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and put a little bit of tape on like I did with the last one, just to kind of hold it in place. And I wanna be careful because I don't want it to stick too much of the paper, so just lightly. And then press it like I did before. Just go all the way around. Push. Like I said, it's much easier than getting a tape measure and measuring, but if you want to, ask a parent. They might have one sitting around and you can measure how tall this cylinder is. That would be kind of cool. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did with my pink sheet. pretty straight line. I think I did a good job. I'm gonna go ahead and cut. I can maybe use these. I wouldn't throw these away. I'd use these for scraps for something else, for sure. All right, now I'm gonna tape the green on. So cool. Okay. And you're more than welcome to use glue if you'd rather do glue and not have tape on the outside. That's something you'll have to get a grown-up for. If you have some Elmer's glue. I always find that tape's pretty simple and does the trick. All right, I have one little tiny piece of tape on that side. I might need to add a little bit more. You don't really want it peeling off. Put some there. I have coffee dust in my drum still. So it's making little coffee fingerprints on my tape, which is just adding some character to it, and that's totally fine. All right, now I have the base for my drum. Now what I thought would be fun is to take my markers and draw some pictures on my drum and decorate it and make it mine. Now this can take as long or as short as you want it to. I'm gonna draw just a few things for time's sake and then put the lid on. But you can pause it here, take your time, draw all your pictures, and then press play, and we'll figure out what our end results look like. So I am gonna draw, I think, a peace sign. All right. And your drum might be all one color or different colors. And you can use that to your advantage. I have pink over here, so I'm going to draw a flower. So cute. And then, I got to put a butterfly on there. Big wing, little wing, big wing, little wing. Oh, very cute. I could spend all day coloring and covering this whole entire thing. But for now, that's what I'm going to add to my drum. We're almost finished. Take your lid and pop it back on. Gotta make sure it goes around the tape there. It might not. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's give it a shot. So cool. There you have it. I love to see pictures of your drums when you're finished. Thanks. All right, friends, the last craft I'm going to show you is what I like to call a tie-dye egg. So what you need is a coffee filter. You can borrow one from your parents with their permission. A water bottle. Now this just is a random bottle I had and I just filled it up with water. I have a piece of paper down. You can always use newspaper or something like that because you are going to spray some water. Some scissors, again, you're going to need these just briefly for a short amount of time, so maybe with your parents' help they can do this part with you. And some markers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spread out our coffee filter like this. Maybe I'll turn it upside down, that way it doesn't, yeah, that works. All right, so it's in the shape of a circle, but we want it to be in the shape of an egg, so have your parents help you with this part because I think it might be tricky, but I'm just gonna make a few cuts around the edges, maybe, we'll see, to kind of give it the egg shape. So we'll see if that actually works. Okay. If you want to leave it the shape of a circle, that's fine as well. I'm gonna get off all my little spiky pieces that I made. That's close enough to an egg. Can't wait to put this up on my window. Okay, move away the pieces. Again, keep any scraps you have because you never know when you're gonna be able to use them for another project. Okay, there's my silly looking egg. I gotta fix this one part. Okay. So now there's the top of my egg and the bottom of my egg is a little bit wider, but it doesn't come to a complete point like a triangle at the top. I'm gonna turn it over because it wants to fight back with me. There we go. Okay, now here's the fun part. And just like our last craft, this can take as long as you want. You're going to draw on your egg whatever patterns you want. Like you can draw zigzags, straight lines, you can draw swirls or waves, however you want to do it, using different colors too. So I'm just gonna test out a few different patterns. So I'm going to do zigzags first. Just like a bunch of V's over and over again, or M's, or W's. Wow, a lot of letters I found in that pattern. Gonna choose a different color, think of a different pattern. Let me do, little swirls like this. Almost waves, I don't know what you'd call that. Squiggles? Let's see. You can do dashes. I think that'd be a cool pattern. Very cool. I'm liking it so far. This egg is yours and the designs you come up with, or whatever you want. I'm just gonna do one straight line, but I'm gonna make it thick. Okay, you don't have to fill up your egg all the way. You can leave some white space because you're gonna do something really cool with it that might fill up some space. At the very top, I'm gonna do circles. This is cute, I like this. And just to use all my colors, I'm gonna do smaller like dots at the bottom. Oh, okay. So that's all I'm gonna put on my egg. You can fill it up as much as you want to, but make sure that it is yours, your design. All right, the last step might be a little messy, but that's why you have something down like a piece of paper or newspaper, or you're on a tablecloth that your parents gave you. That's okay if it gets a little bit messy, or outside on the grass. But you're gonna take your spray bottle, and you might need your parents' help for this to make sure it's set on a misting and not squirting. I think I set mine, we'll find out. So what you're gonna do is hold it a few inches above your egg, and then do just a few squirts. You see how now my colors are blurring? All right, I've gotten it completely wet. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it dry, and then when I come back in a few hours, it's going to be so cool. So have a parent help you maybe hang this or set this somewhere where it's not gonna stick to the paper, maybe on parchment paper, or hang it up in a window to dry with a clip, and come back and see what it looks like. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to see pictures of yours.